Welcome LearnWake members. This is Brandon Judd responding to a video analysis request uploaded by user roel, I believe it's pronounced, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. But Roel has submitted two different analysis video requests, and one of them is for a Toeside Jump, and the other one here is for a Batwing. And the Toeside Jump video has the same problem as the Batwing video. So rather than be overly redundant here, I'm just going to combine these two into one request, and I'm going to talk about the Toeside Jump first, and then I'm going to go into the Batwing and explain how the Toeside Jump issues are affecting your Batwing, because that's really where the root of this is all kind of coming from. So first of all, it looks like your competency on the board is really strong, which is really great for this. So you're going to learn this really fast as long as you can get used to kind of breaking your new habits here. There's kind of a funky body position that you have to force yourself to trust on your toe side edge, and it's very unnatural and it doesn't look stylish. Now here's kind of what I mean about it doesn't look stylish is you'll see a lot of guys, a lot of pro riders come in, and like here's an example. So you've got Toeside Frontside off axis 900 by Bryan Hutton, and you look at his body position, you'll notice he's in kind of this lightning bolt sort of position here, where his hips are out behind him and his chest is forward. This is really common to see. So it looks like you're doing it kind of the cool, stylish way when you look at your Toeside Jump, and you'll see you're in kind of a similar position. The difference here is you're actually at the popping point on the wake where you need to be tall. So what's going to happen here is if you were to ride through the wake in this position, which you do, the force of the water is going to cause you to buckle here. Because if you think of your body like a joint that has a hinge at the hips, and if you're already kind of bent like that, I mean, imagine a door frame or a strut or a table leg or something like that's at this angle, and then you put pressure on it and it's just going to buckle. So that's kind of just your structural integrity here is compromised by you bending at the waist so much. So I want to show you what happens when Bryan Hutton takes off for this 900, and you'll notice that it's a very quick, very subtle motion, but in this broken position, when he rides up the face of the wake, he's going to fix it and he's going to become tall. So I want you to watch that. So you watch he's starting to get taller and taller. And then right here, he starts to get his chest back and really extends his legs and gets really tall, brings his hips forward. And it's hard to see the back leg, but he gets a full extension out of his back leg. And that allows him to get a lot of pop and be really in control for this. So on the other hand, in your position, you'll see that it actually makes you fold over more into the air and gets you a little off balance. So let's go back to a little bit before you hit the wake, just to see where it all came from. So you'll notice you're getting more and more compressed here. Chest is leaning hard toward the wake, and then you're getting more squatted, more squatted, more squatted, and then at this point you just kind of try and hold that position. But watch how the wake is going to push your board and your knees kind of up into your chest. It's really subtle, but your knees and your hips start to kind of bend even more here. And that's just taking a lot of your pop away and making you feel really out of control. So again, that's a really, really common thing, so I wouldn't stress out too much. But this is definitely something that we can fix. So let's take a look at a couple things. I want you to watch some of these videos. So here's some of your homework. The first thing is this toe side leverage drill. And you'll notice Kurt in this video, you'll see how his hips are actually in front of his chest. So like if he was to run a race, his hips would cross the finish line. If we draw kind of an imaginary line here, his hips are actually leading a little bit more than his center mass in his chest is. And if you compare that over here to the incorrect side, which is looking more like what your position was in kind of this lightning bolt, hips behind you position. And again, this is more comfortable, this is more relaxed, and this is a way that more advanced riders, like in this 900 here, that's a way that more advanced riders will get more of an extension out of their body when they stand tall, which is another way of kind of using a hard push with your legs. But since that's a lot more advanced, we want to just skip that for now, because you can do it, obviously, as we can see in Bryan's example. But I don't want you to be doing this, because getting from this position here in this kind of lightning bolt position and then getting tall through the wake is really hard, because that tall position, if we can kind of go back to it, is pretty twisted. I mean, your chest is facing the boat pretty well, and then your board is pointed across the wakes. So it's a really twisted, really awkward position to stand firm and resist the pressure of the board. So rather than have you be in a not strong leverage position and then enter a more uncomfortable strong leverage position at the wake, instead of having to change that up and time that, which is just adding another variable in there, at first we just want you to learn how to stay tall the whole time and just edge strong all the way through the wake without having to affect that. And it will affect some of your line tension, it will affect a little bit of the way the pop feels. It's not going to feel like that ollie pop with a leg push. But for now, we just want to get it consistent. So once that's easy and consistent, you can go wake to wake with no problem. Then that's kind of the idea. So we really want you to practice one of these drills here, this toe side leverage drill, and it will teach you the differences in body position, and you'll be able to recognize that feeling. Next up is toe side jumps, the perfect setup. This is the next spot in your homework. And the perfect setup video just shows the differences between a heel side jump and a toe side jump when you're edging out and coming back in. So you're not really exhibiting a lot of the issues that this video is aimed to fix. It looked like your setup was pretty decent except for your body position at the end. But it's still, since we're going to be changing some variables up and trying to get you to be in a taller body position, I don't want you to revert into some of these problems. So I just want you to be aware of this. So just watch this video so that you can be aware of the issues. And you may have already seen this, but it's good to kind of review. And then this is the drill I want you to practice, because this is the one that is teaching you how to be in the right position at the wake. So the first step is to be out here. Again, if you watch this video, you'll see all the details, but the first step is just isolating this body position, getting that body position to be correct away from the wakes, and then getting it two-handed, and then getting it at the face of the wake, and then getting that version two-handed. And so let's go back to that really quick, just so I can explain once Kyle gets two-handed in this. So the reason that we want you to do this is look at Kyle's chest position. See how he's kind of facing the boat in a good leverage position against the rope with his hips forward in a nice tall overly twisted position. His board is actually twisted more than it needs to be here, and that's why this it could be, since he's sliding, if that makes sense. So his fins are actually broken loose and his board is twisted to point across the wakes even more than it would when it's edging. And the reason for this is to train your body to hold that position through the wake, and it gives you a lot of help with that leverage. So the reason that we have you do this is because at the wake, again, is the time when your body has the most tendency to fold, and it's the hardest to resist that. And this drill really helps with that. I really recommend this drill. The other ones are more or less for observation, and if you feel like it would help you, definitely try it. But this is the one I would focus on. Definitely get this one practiced and dialed in, and then your wake jumps are going to be way more consistent, way stronger, and you'll feel a little bit better when you're riding through the wake. It's going to be a little bit more of a tail-heavy pop, and going to help you really feel like you're taking off and resisting the water all the way through the wake instead of just at first. So that's the toe side fixes that I would have for your toe side jump. And again, we can take another look at it. So you just get a little too squatted and then you stay folded here, where if you had gotten taller, you'd have been a lot higher on the wake and a lot more in control with the line tension. So that's about it when it comes to the toe side jump. Now let's move to your Batwing here real quick. So you'll notice when we watch this Batwing that a lot of the same issues are prevalent. You kind of fold at the waist, and then as you go up the wake, since you're folding, what happens is your board wants to kind of sweep this direction, and your upper body is just going to get taken along for the ride, if that makes sense. So as the water is pushing your board up and you're folding, the board is getting sent out across the wakes this way, which allows you to get stuck with the board sideways, and then at that point you can't really recover. You don't have the leverage to pull yourself back down without just kind of dropping out and falling on your butt like that. So I've got a couple videos for you to watch. First of all, I'm going to bring you back here to it's not really a Batwing because it's not grabbed, but it's a Toeside Raley by Danny Harf, and it's a really good example of a really strong toeside edging position through the wake. So we're going to diagnose two things before I get too far ahead of myself. The first thing we're going to diagnose is your body position issues, which we've already talked about a lot in the toeside drill. But I just wanted to reiterate that and show you the difference. So we're going to talk about that first. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about why this board is getting out in front of you out here and causing you to not be able to get the board back underneath you. So the most important thing is getting your edging right, because once you get your edging right, a lot of the other stuff will come back together. So here's Danny Harf on a really big Toeside Raley. And it'll play it again in slow motion here, and we'll be able to kind of pause. So you'll notice that he's in kind of that lightning bolt broken position, like we had explained. And then watch how well he fixes his body position at the wake. Watch those hips move forward. And then his back foot, you can't really see it, but his back foot is pretty straight behind him right now. His front foot is pretty far across the wake, so his board is at a pretty aggressive angle. But his upper body, you'll notice, is really upright directly against the rope. So let's go back a little bit and watch this again. So he gets really tall, and it just allows him to really resist all the push from the wake. So that is the main thing. Once you get your toe side jumps really consistent, then you're edging in and coming in for this Batwing Toeside Raley with a grab approach. You're going to be able to fix your position right here at the wake, and that is going to be really strong. So if you can get that toeside edging dialed, this position is going to be really strong for you. Alright, so here's the next step. So you'll notice here, once we get this at the right spot, you'll notice your Batwing looked more like this, only the board was even more in front of you. And Kyle's example here of turning the toes down, so it's this instructional video is called turning your Batwing down. The toes on this one are up, and you have kind of two issues. You're turning your Batwing up, which gives you kind of a rough position to land in, but then additionally your off-axis aerial balance is a little wacky. So you'll notice Mike McClin here, his toes are in almost the exact same position as your Batwing, where you were kind of stuck here and then fell. Whereas the board being directly behind you, like Danny Harf had in his, or like Kyle has in this one, that's the goal. So yours is sort of a compounded issue. You've got your toe side Batwing is going up, your toes are pointed up, and then your off-axis aerial balance, if you look here, this instructional video, I'd watch this one as well. This off-axis aerial balance, your board is kind of getting thrown to the side of you. So if we were to fix those two issues, once you're in the air, after you've already corrected your toe side body position, then this will be perfect for you every time. Right now, the first thing we got to do before we start fixing these is we have to fix, like I mentioned, that toe side edging position. once we do that, give these a shot. And if you're experiencing some of these issues, these are the drills and the videos to study. So turning your batwing down is a good one. It gives you a couple drills to work on to get your body position proper, and that way you're not having issues when you're in the air and getting that leverage to getting the rope to not have leverage for you to bring it back down. And then this heel side off axis aerial balance, I know it's a heel side off axis 180, but you'll notice in Mike's position here, like I mentioned before, it is identical to the Batwing, and they even mentioned in here that it's going to be a very similar landing to the Batwing. So I want to hopefully get you watching these two videos, heel side off axis aerial balance and turning your Batwing down. And once we get that accomplished, then you should be good to go. But before I end, I want to give you one last reminder, and I don't want to beat it up too much, but I just want to show you an example that I forgot to mention a little earlier. So here's your body position through the wake, like we mentioned on your Toeside jump, kind of folded, and then here's the goal position. So you'll notice Kyle's nice and tall here, hips forward. So again, that's just a good reminder that you can get it really in control. So watch how controlled this is. Kyle just pretty much holds his body position nice and still and resists the push from the wake. So that's the goal. That's hopefully the plan. And if you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up down here in the comment section below, or if you are able to fix some things in this body position and revisit it, you can upload another video and we can go over that one. Again, good luck with the Toeside jump and with the Batwings, and we'll hear from you soon.